Hi, my name is Karen McKy, and I'm here with Bruce Lipton today in Taos, New Mexico, and we've been experiencing a wonderful event with Bruce and Rob Williams, and we've been here with the PSYCH-K basic workshop, but enhanced with Bruce's amazing additional goodies that he's throwing in. So I just wanted to have an opportunity for you to get to meet Bruce Lipton, perhaps in a way that you don't get to hear about much. So Bruce, most of the people that are following my website and things like that are already interested in PSYCH-K.
Yes.
And so I wanted to have them have an opportunity to hear from your point of view what some of the fascinating or more profound changes that have happened in your life using PSYCH-K.
Oh.
So I know this is just quick and on the spot, but if you can come up with a couple.
Well, I can tell you one of the most exciting things is this, is that in my research on cloning stem cells, I saw back in 1967, so that's like over 50 years ago.
Oh, that's just yesterday.
that genes were not controlling the fate of the cell, which was really amazing, since I was teaching students the conventional story that genes turn on and off and regulate our lives, and then my research revealed this is totally false.
Right.
And as I started to pursue this understanding, I started to get a whole different mechanism understanding about how life works. And what was really interesting about it is, of course, none of my colleagues were very supportive of all the new science that I was looking at, because it was against convention.
Right.
And at some point I said, well, I started to get into it so much deeper, and I started to recognize that that our genetics is really controlled by our consciousness. Yeah. And then I started to recognize, well, there's a conscious and a subconscious. I started to put all the pieces together.
Right.
And I made an understanding, which also led to the understanding of spirituality. So here I am in a scientific community that, A, you can't even say the word spirituality because that's kind of weird for them. And I was completely antagonistic to the conventional point of view, which they looked at me like kind of weird. But I wanted to write a book on it. Yeah. And the issue is I started the book, and I started it 3 times. And I got halfway through each time, and then it would just peter out. And I couldn't figure out why, because I was so very enthusiastic about it, and I couldn't get the book to finish. And then I had met Rob Williams.
Yeah, 1990.
A while back.
Yeah.
And I experienced the PSYCH-K process. And there was a point where, PSYCH-K is, let's go in, what issues do you have in your life? And I was saying to Rob, I'm having trouble writing this book. So he said, well, let's take an assessment of what's going on. And it came out that my subconscious was sabotaging the writing of the book. Yeah. Not to penalize me, but to protect me. Because my subconscious said, look, you're in a scientific community, you're a professional, you have validation, your research is respected, people respect your science. But my subconscious was saying, if you write a book that includes spirituality and take away the concept of genetics, all your colleagues are going to run away from you. You're going to be abandoned. Yeah. You will lose your credibility in the scientific world. So while my conscious mind was saying, yes, I want to write this book, it's real exciting, my subconscious mind was hiding in the back going, no, this book will not be good for you because it'll ruin your career. Yeah. And so the subconscious kept essentially sabotaging.
Yeah, protecting you.
It was protecting me. And then when I had an opportunity to meet Rob, and we got into PSYCH-K, and then we assessed my subconscious, found out, yes, it was trying to save me. And so we wanted to change the subconscious, and we did what is called the VAC, V-A-K, to the future. And it was kind of fun because it was only about a 20-minute process to change my programming. And it was interesting because Rob's, before doing the balance that we were going to do, he said, well, how would you like this book to be written? Well, because it's now taken me so long, first thing I said, I really want it to be fast. Yeah. And because I've been struggling with it, I also said I want it to be easy. Right. And the last thing I said, and why not fun? So we balanced fast, easy, and fun. That was about 20 minutes. Somewhere down the road, a couple of months later, I finished the book. Yeah. And just the last review of the book before sending it to the publisher, I'm reading it for the last time. I get to the last sentence, period, and push myself back from the table. Book is done. And I sat there and I said to myself, wow, man, that was kind of fast, and it was easy and fun. And I said, I can't believe it.
Didn't I balance for that?
I had no memory of even doing the balance. Because it was 20 minutes a few months ago. Right. I didn't every day think about it. I lost it. So what was the point? Is like, my brain fed back exactly the program that I wanted to write the book with, and said, this is exactly how it worked. And it was like, oh my God, my life I programmed my life by changing my subconscious. And once I understood that, it was a matter of, well, let's change some other things that are not really working well. And the beautiful part is, here I am today, and I have to admit, I have two different lifetimes in this one life. Pre-Psych-K, post-Psych-K. And what's the difference? Pre-Psych-K, I was professionally very successful, but personally, socially, not very successful, and no romance, I couldn't get it off the ground. Psych-K, I got the book done. I did balances about relationships and all that to correct for the very poor start that I got in the first 7 years with my family.
Okay.
And I did these series of balances. And so here's a simple truth. The first 40 years was struggle life. When I did the Psych-K and all that stuff, the last 30 years has been the most enjoyment I could ever imagine in life. That I even wrote a book called The Honeymoon Effect, because the harmony of what love brings into the world, when people are on a honeymoon, it's like heaven on earth. And I say, for 30 years, I've been living heaven on earth. And every aspect of my life is so beautiful. And why? I changed the limiting programs through the process of Psych-K. And when I put in programs that gave me the values I wanted, the joy, which is so really important about it, is I didn't have to work on it. Once the program was in there, the subconscious running 95% of the day automatically, without my even participating consciously, I was finding heaven without even making an effort to get there. And I am living in this most wonderful life. No doctors, no pharmaceutical drugs, no insurance.
You either.
No.
Me either.
Why should I spend the money for insurance? I haven't had insurance since 1992.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And the fact is what? Who needs it? I'm not planning to do that.
Right.
And the idea is, what we really ultimately come down to is, life isn't a bunch of accidents that we move through. Life is a bunch of creations. And if your life is a struggle, we always have a tendency to say, oh, the universe is against me, or something like that.
Whole victim mentality.
I'm a victim. I can't. It's out of my control. That's the problem, not me.
Right.
And once you understand the basis of the new biology and the Psych-K process, you start to recognize, wait, I am a co-creator of my life. Right. And if my programs are not really good, then my life will not be really good. Changing those programs. And here I am today with you. And look how beautiful this woman is.
Look how
she
wonderful
sparkles
he is.
and shines. Why? When we clean up the problems that we acquired in our development, then life comes to us. You don't even have to go out and chase it anymore. And that is the 100% difference. First 40 years, I'm gonna go get that success. Last 30 years, open the door. Oh, here you are. Thank you very much. Yeah. So. All I can say is the most exciting experience in my life was to take back control.
Right.
And that the Psych-K process was the simplest, fastest, easiest,
most fun.
Hey,
really
I heard those words before.
Simple, easy, and fun.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, and you shared this morning about your relationship with your
partner, Margaret.
Wife. Well, yeah, but there was something you shared last year that you guys took a step beyond partnership.
We got married after 22 years.
Yes.
I made an honest woman out of her.
You did.
Yeah, but actually...
And she an honest man out of you.
Well, that was a hard job, wasn't it?
It was. I think she's done a good job, though.
I am so delighted with my life, because to find someone and to recognize it's not a regular kind of marriage where arguments and things show up every now and then. We haven't in the very beginning, there were some issues because what? My subconscious wasn't completely ready, and hers also had some issues, and they would manifest as, okay, there's like something wrong in the system. But the beautiful part was, both of us aware of Psych-K. When an issue came up, it's like, oh, let's balance for it.
Yeah.
And then very quickly, piece by piece, all the interference parts disappeared. And we've been in this honeymoon for 20 years.
Yeah.
Every day is honeymoon day. Every day is, oh my God, I'm here in heaven, you know, and all of this is because once we cleared the developmental problems that we acquired in the first 7 years and started to live on wishes and desires, then a life has manifested all of our wishes and desires.
Right. But you know, you also mentioned this morning a very key element, and that key element is all about responsibility.
Oh,
and
people hear that word,
responsibility. I
responsibility.
know, but it's one of my most exciting and favorite words because that's where our power is. And that was one of the things that you mentioned was that when we have knowledge, knowledge is power.
Yes.
And if we take on the internal self-knowledge of who we are and what we want and move into that self-responsible level of creating the change for our own lives, then we develop a higher level of personal power, and that just keeps evolving over time. And so the stronger and stronger we become, the greater our relationships are with one another. So yeah, what's your take on that? You
Well,
wanna expand?
the simple thing is, if I say, oh, the problems in my life come from outside, then I'm saying I'm not the creator of the problem. I am a victim of the problem.
Right.
And if I'm a victim of the problem, then I can't necessarily fix the problem because it didn't come from me.
Right.
So then all of a sudden the rest of my life is I'm a victim. Things aren't working. Oh my God, and things aren't working. I'm so sorry for my life because it's not working. But then when you understand the nature that we are absolutely creating this life, and you say, well, if I'm the creator, why don't I take responsibility for my creation? All of a sudden, then I said, I'm no longer a victim. I'm mastery of my life.
Yes.
And this is the whole difference. Am I a victim or am I a master? I am not a victim.
Right.
But I had to own responsibility because if I'm waiting for the outside to fix me, it would never happen. I want to fix me. Then I empowered myself.
Right. Right. Yes, and it's so exciting, isn't it, that we have these tools available to us and we can do so much.
And what's so exciting is I go, well, how many years will it take to make this change? And the answer is, how many minutes do you want to make this change?
Right.
And it's all of a sudden, it's like, minutes? Yes, you could have a balance, a PSYCH-K balance, and walk away after 10 minutes with a completely different life.
Right.